Bardock stands before the flickering green glow of the incubation chamber, his eyes narrowed as he monitors the erratic readings on the scouter. The sterile atmosphere of the Saiyan laboratory is punctuated by the rhythmic thrumming of life support systems, yet it is the infant inside who commands his full attention. Kakarot's power levels do not merely fluctuate. They spike with a terrifying intensity that defies Saiyan biological norms, even while the child remains in a state of deep slumber. Bardock senses a latent, freaky power brewing within his son, a potential so vast it threatens to shatter the glass of the container. He realizes that this boy is no mere low-class warrior, but a prodigy whose strength might one day eclipse every other member of their warrior race. The weight of the impending destruction of planet Vegeta hangs heavy in the air, as Bardock prepares the small space pod for its departure into the dark void of the cosmos. He looks at Kakarot one last time, fueled by a desperate hope that this child will be the one to survive the coming genocide, and eventually face the tyrant Frieza. There is a grim confidence in the father's heart, believing that the extraordinary potential he witnessed in the incubation chamber will serve as the ultimate weapon of vengeance. As the pod's engines ignite with a blinding light, the small vessel streaks away from the doomed world, carrying the future of the Saiyan race toward the distant, unsuspecting planet Earth. Upon landing on the lush green world of Earth, the infant Kakarot experiences a life-altering accident that reshapes the destiny of the universe. He falls from a great height and strikes his head against the jagged rocks, an event that would have killed a normal child but instead serves to suppress the violent, chaotic rage inherent to his Saiyan heritage. This trauma acts as a mental dam, holding back the overwhelming flood of his legendary power and allowing him to grow into the pure-hearted, cheerful boy known as Goku. While his incredible potential remains buried deep within his subconscious, it manifests as an uncanny ability to master martial arts at a speed that baffles his masters and peers alike. Years later, the journey to the planet Namek serves as the catalyst for Goku's dormant powers to begin their inevitable ascent to the surface. Inside his specialized training vessel, the air is heavy and suffocating as he pushes himself through grueling exercises under the crushing weight of intense artificial gravity. Goku feels his muscles screaming in protest, yet he is energized by a growth in strength that is far beyond anything he has ever experienced before. Each drop of sweat that falls to the floor represents another barrier broken, and he finds himself genuinely impressed by the sheer velocity of his own advancement. He realizes that he is becoming something far greater than a standard warrior, though he does not yet understand the true nature of the beast sleeping within his soul. When the battle on Namek finally erupts, Captain Ginyu finds himself utterly bewildered by the sheer magnitude of the power radiating from his opponent. The purple-skinned captain watches in awe as Goku moves with a fluid grace and speed that makes the elite Ginyu force look like amateurs. However, the conflict takes a dire turn when Ginyu successfully executes his body change technique, only to find that he cannot tap into the true depth of Goku's mysterious strength. This leaves Goku's original body battered and broken after the subsequent struggle, necessitating his placement in a medical healing chamber. As the regenerative fluids surround him, the near-death experience triggers a massive Saiyan power boost that is amplified tenfold by his unique, legendary biology. Within the confines of the healing tank, Goku's cells undergo a violent evolution, absorbing the energy of the Namekian atmosphere and the trauma of his recent battles. When he finally emerges from the chamber, the air around him crackles with a static charge that makes the nearby observers gasp in realization. His power level has not just increased, it has skyrocketed to a staggering 10 million, a figure that far exceeds any previous expectations. While his friends Krillin and Gohan look on with a mixture of relief and astonishment, Goku senses the final moments of Vegeta's life fading away in the distance. He knows that the time for training is over, and the true nightmare is about to begin as he prepares to face the Emperor of the Universe. Goku arrives on the battlefield just as the life leaves Vegeta's eyes, and he stands firm against the diminutive but terrifying form of Frieza. The landscape of Namek is a scarred wasteland of blue grass and jagged peaks, all of which seem to tremble under the pressure of the two titans' presence. Knowing that his raw power alone is still not enough to match the tyrant's full might, Goku decides to push his body to its absolute breaking point. Goku transitions from his base form into a Kaioken times 20 state. The crimson aura of the technique erupts around Kaioken times 20 Goku, scorching the ground beneath his feet as he prepares to engage in a high-stakes gamble for the fate of the galaxy. The sheer force of Kaioken times 20 Goku's aura creates a vacuum that draws the surrounding dust into a swirling vortex of red energy. Calculations reveal that his power has reached a terrifying 200 million, a level that forces Frieza to abandon his arrogance and take the fight seriously. Frieza's eyes widen in genuine shock as he realizes this Saiyan is not just another victim, but a legitimate threat to his reign. The tyrant immediately begins to bulk up his muscles, bypassing his usual gradual displays of power to enter his 100% full power form as quickly as possible. Kaioken times 20, Goku watches the transformation with a grim expression, knowing that the strain on his heart is immense, and that he must end the fight before his stamina completely evaporates. As the two powers collide, the sky of Namek turns a dark, sickly shade of violet, and the very foundations of the planet begin to crack. Kaioken times 20 Goku maintains the upper hand, his strikes landing with the force of falling stars, yet Frieza proves to be a tenacious and desperate foe. Realizing that he cannot win a direct confrontation against the overwhelming might of Kaioken times 20 Goku, Frieza's mind twists with a malicious and cowardly strategy. He decides that if he cannot kill the Saiyan directly, he will destroy everything the Saiyan holds dear. Frieza's gaze shifts away from his opponent and toward the small group of survivors watching from the sidelines, his lips curling into a sadistic smirk. With a burst of cruel speed, Frieza ignores Kaioken times 20 Goku and lunges toward the defenseless spectators. He easily bats away Piccolo and Krillin, who are sent tumbling across the rocky terrain like discarded toys. The tyrant then seizes Gohan by the hair, hoisting the young boy into the air as a human shield and a psychological weapon. Kaioken times 20 Goku freezes in his tracks, his crimson aura flickering as a cold dread washes over him. He hears Gohan's muffled cries for help, and for the first time in his life, a darkness begins to seep into his pure heart. Frieza laughs at the Saiyan's hesitation, relishing the moment of absolute control he has over the man who dared to challenge him. Frieza places a cold, trembling hand against Gohan's back, his eyes locked onto the horrified gaze of Kaioken times 20 Goku. Without a word of warning, the tyrant unleashes a massive, point-blank energy blast that consumes the young boy in a blinding flash of purple light. When the smoke clears, there is nothing left where Gohan once stood. The boy has been completely eradicated from existence. A deafening silence falls over the battlefield, broken only by the whistling wind and the distant rumble of volcanic activity. Kaioken times 20 Goku stands perfectly still, his eyes wide and blank as the reality of his son's death shatters the last remnants of his composure. The silence is suddenly replaced by a low, guttural growl that seems to emanate from the very earth itself, as Kaioken times 20 Goku begins to tremble with a rage that transcends mortal understanding. His crimson aura is swallowed by a violent emerald-green light that radiates a heat so intense it melts the surrounding stone into slag. Kaioken times 20 Goku transcends his base limitations to become Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. The transformation is horrific and violent. His muscles swell to twice their normal size, his shirt shreds into tatters, and his golden-green hair spikes upward toward the heavens. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku towers over the landscape, his eyes devoid of pupils and his soul consumed by a singular, berserk desire for slaughter. Frieza's face pales as he looks up at the towering monstrosity he has inadvertently created, realizing too late that this is no ordinary Super Saiyan. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku moves with a speed that creates a sonic boom, shattering the eardrums of anyone nearby as he closes the distance to the tyrant. He buries a massive fist into Frieza's stomach, a blow so powerful it causes the Emperor to cough up a torrent of blood and air. Piccolo and Krillin, watching from a distance, are paralyzed by a fear that is even greater than what they felt for Frieza. They can sense that Legendary Super Saiyan Goku has lost all sense of his former self, becoming a mindless engine of destruction that knows only how to kill. While Legendary Super Saiyan Goku continues his brutal assault, Krillin and Bulma realize they must escape the immediate area before the planet itself is torn asunder. They scramble toward a nearby spaceship, their eyes fixed on the horrifying spectacle of the Saiyan warrior they once called a friend now acting like a wild animal. Piccolo, however, refuses to leave, his pride and concern for Goku keeping him rooted to the spot despite the overwhelming pressure of the green aura. He watches as Legendary Super Saiyan Goku ignores all tactical finesse, instead opting to torture Frieza with savage, uncoordinated strikes. The Namekian warrior knows that if he does not find a way to reach the man inside the monster, there will be nothing left of Namek but stardust. Frieza makes one final, desperate attempt to survive by launching a massive purple energy beam from his palms, screaming in a voice cracked with terror. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku does not even flinch, simply swatting the lethal projectile away with the back of his hand as if it were a common insect. The Saiyan Titan then lets out a roar that shakes the very stars, his mouth glowing with a concentrated sphere of lime-green energy. A massive beam of destruction erupts from Legendary Super Saiyan Goku's mouth, instantly vaporizing Frieza and carving a massive crater into the planet's surface that stretches for miles. The Emperor of the Universe is gone, reduced to nothingness by the sheer, unadulterated power of the legend. With his primary target destroyed, Legendary Super Saiyan Goku turns his empty, white gaze toward the only other living soul nearby. He lunges at Piccolo, his hand cocked back for a blow that could easily shatter a mountain. Though he subconsciously pulls the punch, the impact is still enough to launch Piccolo miles away, leaving the Namekian unconscious and broken in a heap of rubble. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku stalks toward his fallen comrade, his aura flaring with a restless, hungry energy that seeks more combat. Krillin, trembling with a fear that threatens to paralyze him, leaps out from the ship and screams at the top of his lungs, begging his best friend to remember who he is. The sound of Krillin's voice, combined with the presence of Bulma and the fallen Piccolo, creates a tiny crack in the wall of madness surrounding the warrior's mind. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku pauses, his massive frame shivering as the voice of King Kai echoes in his head, pleading for him to regain control before he destroys everything he loves. The terrifying emerald light begins to flicker and fade, the overwhelming pressure lifting from the atmosphere like a heavy shroud being removed. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku reverts from his transformed state back to his base form. Goku collapses onto the scorched earth, his body completely spent and his mind slipping into the darkness of unconsciousness as his hair returns to its natural black state. In the aftermath of the cataclysm, the Dragon Balls of Namek are used to restore the planet and bring back those who fell during the conflict, including Gohan and Vegeta. Vegeta stands over the sleeping Goku, his mind reeling from the realization that the ancient legends of his people were not only true, but embodied in the low-class Kakarot. As Goku eventually wakes and learns of the berserk state he entered, a deep sense of dread settles in his chest, knowing he nearly killed his own friends in his blind rage. He and Vegeta discuss the terrifying possibility that Gohan might also harbor this volatile, legendary power within his hybrid blood. They realize that the fight for survival is far from over, as they must now find a way to master a power that is designed for nothing but total destruction. The sun hangs heavy over the rocky wasteland where Goku and Vegeta stand, the air thick with the scent of ozone and the weight of an uncertain future. Goku remains haunted by the crimson haze of Namek, his mind replaying the moment his soul shattered and a primal, uncontrollable power took hold of his very being. He stares at his trembling hands, wondering if he is a protector, or merely a ticking time bomb waiting to level the very world he calls home. The terrifying memory of the legendary Super Saiyan's wrath lingers like a physical pressure in his chest, making every breath a chore as he considers the possibility that he might never be whole again. Vegeta watches his rival with a calculating, sharp gaze, his arms crossed over his chest as he leans against a jagged pillar of stone. He recognizes the danger gurgling beneath the surface of the other warrior, knowing that if the legendary power erupts again, the planet will likely be reduced to stardust. Despite the catastrophic risks, the prince views this as a necessary gamble, a chance to elevate his own status while keeping the monster within his rival at bay. He chooses to prioritize his own ascension, believing that if he can master a lesser version of the transformation, he might stand a chance at reigning in the chaotic storm that threatens to consume them all. The wind howls through the canyons as the two warriors begin their grueling routine, their movements a blur of precision and raw physical force. Goku tries to articulate the elusive sensation he felt before the world went dark on Namek, describing a strange, electric gathering of energy in his upper back. He explains how the power seemed to concentrate and spark, a localized inferno that ignited the transformation and wiped his consciousness clean. Vegeta listens with an intense, almost desperate focus, trying to reconcile this tingly back sensation with his own traditional understanding of Saiyan evolution and the raw emotion required to break through his limits. Months bleed into a year of relentless pursuit, the landscape scarred by their constant clashing and the discharge of their immense energies. Vegeta leaves his base form behind as he transforms into Super Saiyan Vegeta. The air around Super Saiyan Vegeta crackles with golden lightning, his hair standing tall in a defiant shimmering yellow that radiates a controlled yet overwhelming heat. Unlike his rival's berserk state, Super Saiyan Vegeta retains his sharp mind and cruel smirk, reveling in the lucidity that this newfound strength provides while he stares down at his glowing palms. The tranquility of the afternoon is shattered when a cold, oppressive shadow descends from the sky, chilling the very atmosphere of the Earth. A massive spaceship, bearing the unmistakable insignia of the Cold Force, breaks through the cloud layer and casts a long, dark pall over the countryside. Super Saiyan Vegeta senses the familiar, icy signature of a power that rivals the late Frieza, realizing immediately that the patriarch of the Galactic Empire, King Cold, has come to claim vengeance. A smirk of genuine amusement crosses the face of Super Saiyan Vegeta, who feels a surge of dark joy at the prospect of testing his perfected form against a worthy sacrificial lamb. The massive vessel touches down with a heavy thud, crushing the earth beneath its weight and sending a plume of dust into the stagnant air. As the ramp descends, a legion of elite soldiers marches out, their blasters leveled and their eyes filled with the arrogance of conquerors. Super Saiyan Vegeta does not hesitate, extending a single hand and unleashing a wave of golden fire that vaporizes the entire battalion in a fleeting, screaming second. King Cold steps into the light, his massive frame towering over the battlefield as he demands to know the fate of his son and the identity of the warrior standing before him. Super Saiyan Vegeta chuckles, his voice carrying a jagged edge of superiority as he informs the tyrant that a legend was responsible for Frieza's demise. He watches with predatory satisfaction as King Cold's expression shifts from arrogance to genuine disbelief at the mention of the legendary Super Saiyan. With a sudden, explosive flare of his golden aura, Super Saiyan Vegeta lunges forward, delivering a relentless barrage of strikes that the massive tyrant cannot hope to track. The battle is a brutal, one-sided execution, with Super Saiyan Vegeta weaving through King Cold's desperate defenses and mocking the Emperor's fading relevance with every crushing blow. The ground groans under the pressure of the conflict, the air vibrating with the hum of concentrated ki as the end draws near. Super Saiyan Vegeta leaps into the sky, silhouetted against the sun, and extends his palm toward the battered and broken King Cold. He roars the name of his ultimate technique, the Big Bang Attack, and a sphere of brilliant blue-white energy erupts from his hand to consume the tyrant. King Cold is erased from existence in a deafening flash, leaving nothing but a smoldering crater where a galactic conqueror once stood, and Super Saiyan Vegeta lands softly, his ego bolstered by the effortless slaughter. Before the dust can fully settle, a new presence manifests in the wasteland, the energy signature feeling eerily familiar, yet distinctly more weathered. A warrior clad in the orange and blue colors of the Turtle Hermit School stands before them, his gaze carrying a weight of sorrow and experience that does not belong to a young man. Super Saiyan Vegeta narrows his eyes, recognizing the facial features of Gohan but noting the scars and the mature, battle-hardened posture of the stranger. The man introduces himself as Future Gohan, a traveler from a timeline where the world has already been brought to the brink of extinction. Future Gohan steps forward, his boots crunching on the dry earth as he produces a small vial containing the medicine that will save Goku's life from a heart virus. He speaks of a future where his world was decimated, and how he only survived by tapping into the same legendary power that Goku now fears. Future Gohan explains that he eventually mastered the transformation, turning the mindless rage into a focused tool for justice, which allowed him to finally destroy the androids of his time. This revelation acts as a beacon of hope for the gathered warriors, proving that the legendary curse can be tamed and utilized as a shield for the innocent. The training field becomes a laboratory of power as Future Gohan prepares to guide his father through the perilous journey of self-mastery. Goku sheds his base form as he transforms into Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. Instantly, the environment is warped by a green, pulsating aura that threatens to shatter the tectonic plates beneath their feet. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku towers over the area, his eyes devoid of pupils, and his muscles bulging with a grotesque, overflowing strength that drowns out his humanity in a roar of primal fury. Future Gohan does not flinch, his own resolve igniting as he moves to intercept the rampaging behemoth. Future Gohan transitions from his base form as he transforms into Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan. Unlike his father, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan remains calm, his movements fluid and purposeful as he dodges the chaotic strikes of Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. The Elder Warrior eventually delivers a precise, heavy blow that knocks Legendary Super Saiyan Goku unconscious, forcing the transformation to break before it can cause irreparable damage. Day after day they repeat this cycle of violence and restraint, slowly teaching the Berserker to find a sliver of light within the emerald darkness of his power. 3 years pass in a blur of intense preparation and spiritual growth, the looming threat of the androids serving as a constant motivator for every fighter. Present Gohan watches his future self, with a mixture of awe and determination, his young heart swelling with the desire to fulfill the destiny of the legendary bloodline. He trains until his bones ache, drawing inspiration from the mastery shown by Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan and the progress made by Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. The atmosphere on Earth remains tense but hopeful, as the warriors prepare for the arrival of the mechanical monsters that have already erased one version of their world. The prophesied day arrives with a sudden, jarring spike of energy, as 2 artificial humans descend upon the city to begin their campaign of terror. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku encounters Android 19 and Android 20, but the heart virus that was supposed to kill him strikes earlier due to the strain of his legendary power. However, the medicine provided by Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan has already been administered, and Legendary Super Saiyan Goku stands ready for battle, his body having already recovered from the illness. He stands defiant against the pale, mechanical duo, his resolve hardened by years of training and the knowledge that he is no longer a slave to his own legendary rage. The battle erupts in the streets, the sound of metal clashing against flesh echoing through the concrete canyons of the city. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku easily dismantles Android 19, his movements too fast for the machine's sensors to track as he delivers a finishing blow that reduces the construct to scrap. Meanwhile, Super Saiyan Vegeta engages Android 20, his golden aura illuminating the fear in the artificial eyes of Dr. Gero. The Doctor realizes he is hopelessly outmatched and triggers a series of diversions, managing to escape back to his hidden laboratory to activate his ultimate creations. As the heroes regroup, they are met by a second traveler from the future who accompanies Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, his hair a striking lavender and his spirit burning with a familiar intensity. This young man is revealed to be Future Trunks, the son of the Saiyan Prince, who has come to aid in the final struggle. Future Trunks exits his base form as he transforms into Super Saiyan Future Trunks. The group learns that the androids in this timeline, 17 and 18, are significantly more powerful than the ones Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan faced, as Dr. Gero adjusted their specifications to account for the strength of the Saiyan defenders. The confrontation with Android 17 and Android 18 is a chaotic, high-speed struggle that tests the limits of the heroes' teamwork and endurance. Realizing that the siblings are nearly invincible when fighting together, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan and Legendary Super Saiyan Goku coordinate a tactical retreat to lure them into a trap. They utilize the combined efforts of the other fighters, who unleash a blinding series of solar flares to strip the androids of their vision. The mechanical twins stumble back, their inability to sense Ki leaving them vulnerable in the sudden, white-hot darkness of the battlefield. Seizing the opportunity, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan and Legendary Super Saiyan Goku descend like vengeful gods upon their blinded targets. They pummel Android 17 into the earth, leaving him broken and immobile in a massive crater before turning their combined attention toward his sister. The two legendary warriors position themselves on opposite sides of Android 18, their hands cupped as they charge their ultimate attacks in a synchronized display of emerald light. They fire their Kamehamehas simultaneously, the beams colliding with Android 18 in the center and vaporizing her in a cataclysmic explosion. While Android 17 manages to vanish in the aftermath, the heroes find a hidden floor in the destroyed lab, discovering a new project labeled Cell that signals the start of an even darker chapter. Android 17 stumbles through the desolate wilderness, his mechanical joints clicking with every strained movement as he nurses wounds inflicted by the combined might of Goku and Future Gohan. The once arrogant cyborg feels a cold dread pooling in his chest, knowing that while he cannot be sensed by his pursuers, his internal systems are flagging, and his energy reserves are dangerously low. He looks over his shoulder at the empty horizon, wondering if he can truly find a way to heal and plan a counterattack, or if he is simply delaying the inevitable end of his brief, violent existence. As Android 17 navigates the rugged terrain, he suddenly stops, finding his path blocked by a grotesque, insect-like creature that exudes an aura of ancient, hungry malice. This being, which looks more like an alien bug than a human, introduces itself as Cell, a fellow creation of the late Dr. Gero. Android 17 stares at the bio-android's chitinous green armor and sharp features, feeling a surge of uncertainty as he tries to determine if this new entity is a mechanical ally or a failsafe designed to eliminate rogue creations. Cell observes the battered state of Android 17 with a clinical, predatory gaze, noting the sparks jumping from his open wounds and the labored rhythm of his cooling fans. He explains that he is a bio-android synthesized from the genetic data of the world's greatest warriors, and he offers the dying cyborg a chance at survival. Cell claims that with their powers combined, they could easily dismantle the Saiyans who humiliated them, but he makes it clear that Android 17 is currently too weak to even survive another hour on his own. Android 17 listens with growing suspicion, eventually asking what the catch is for this sudden partnership, only for Cell to admit that he requires Android 17 to be absorbed into his own body. The cyborg reveals with a grim satisfaction that Android 18 has already been killed by their enemies, a fact that momentarily irritates the monster. Despite the loss of his sister, Android 17 refuses to surrender his free will and become a mere component of another's consciousness, bracing himself for a fight he knows he is likely to lose. Cell loses his patience and lashes out with a speed that defies Android 17's optical sensors, making it clear that he will take what he needs by force if it is not given willingly. The ensuing struggle is brief and brutal, as the injured Android 17 finds his attacks are utterly fruitless against the overwhelming power of the bio-android. Cell shifts form from his initial state into semi-perfect Cell, utilizing the word base to describe his point of origin. Now semi-perfect Cell stands tall, his muscles bulging and his power level skyrocketing as he laments that he cannot achieve true perfection without the deceased Android 18. Semi-perfect Cell realizes that while his ultimate form may be out of reach for now, the energy he has gained from Android 17 is more than enough to test the limits of the remaining fighters. He feels a dark exhilaration coursing through his new body, sensing that his unique genetic makeup makes him far more formidable than any previous iteration of his design. Driven by a desire for revenge and the need to slaughter those who killed his sibling android, Semi-Perfect Cell begins tracking the heroes, his presence manifesting as a terrifying amalgamation of their own familiar energies. Nearby, the Z-Fighters freeze as they sense a massive, evil energy approaching, one that feels disturbingly like a cocktail of their own powers, combined into a single, malicious entity. Goku and future Gohan are still recovering from their previous battle, and decide to seek Senzu beans from Korin, leaving the others to face the unknown threat. Vegeta, Piccolo, and Trunks stand their ground, their eyes narrowing as Semi-Perfect Cell descends from the sky, his green skin glistening in the sunlight as he mocks them for the death of Android 18. Vegeta shifts form from his base state into Super Saiyan Vegeta. The golden aura of Super Saiyan Vegeta flares brightly as he launches himself at Semi-Perfect Cell, delivering a flurry of punches and kicks that would have pulverized any ordinary foe. Semi-Perfect Cell simply stands there with a smug grin, allowing the Prince of Saiyans to land direct hits that do absolutely no damage to his reinforced exoskeleton. The monster's power is so immense that he barely registers the effort, proving that he is leagues beyond the strength of a standard android. Trunks, Piccolo, and Kid Gohan join the fray, desperate to find a weakness in Semi-Perfect Cell's defenses, but their coordinated strikes are brushed aside like mere gnats. Semi-Perfect Cell decides it is time to retaliate, lifting a hand to erupt energy from the earth that sends the warriors sprawling across the cracked landscape. He uses telekinesis to lift Super Saiyan Vegeta into the air, laughing as the Saiyan struggles against the invisible grip, before Semi-Perfect Cell begins exchanging blows with a fraction of his true strength. Each time Kid Gohan is knocked down by the heavy hand of Semi-Perfect Cell, the young boy drags himself back to his feet, his small frame trembling with a burgeoning, uncontrollable rage. Semi-Perfect Cell finds the display amusing, mockingly comparing the child's fury to a temper tantrum even as he notices the boy's power level spiking with every breath. The air begins to crackle with static as Kid Gohan's anger reaches a breaking point, his determination to protect the Earth from this monster manifesting as a violent storm of energy. Kid Gohan shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan. A massive emerald aura erupts from the Earth, carving a deep crater as Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan stands with hair turned a vivid, shocking green. Semi-Perfect Cell's eyes widen in genuine surprise as the boy rockets forward, delivering a punch to the bio-android's face that finally draws blood and causes the monster to recoil in pain. The rage in Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan is absolute, blinding him to everything but the destruction of his opponent. Goku and future Gohan arrive at the scene of the carnage just in time to witness the terrifying spectacle of the young boy's transformation into a berserker. Goku feels a heavy weight in his heart, having dreaded the day his son would tap into this unstable, legendary power that is so difficult to restrain. They see Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan locked in a savage exchange with Semi-Perfect Cell, who is now forced to use more of his energy just to keep the small green-haired warrior at bay. Goku shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, and future Gohan shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan. The battlefield is suddenly occupied by three legendary warriors, their combined green auras illuminating the darkening sky as they descend upon Semi-Perfect Cell with coordinated ferocity. Semi-Perfect Cell finds himself overwhelmed by the sheer volume of attacks, his regeneration struggling to keep up as Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, and Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan hammer him from all sides. Faced with certain destruction, Semi-Perfect Cell realizes that since he possesses Goku's genetic code, he should technically be able to tap into the same legendary reservoir of energy. He lets out a primal scream that echoes across the continent, his body bulking up as his yellow aura is replaced by a thick, sickly green light. Semi-Perfect Cell shifts form from his base-derived semi-perfect state into Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell. With his eyes turning a stark, empty white, legendary semi-perfect Cell laughs at the newfound power surging through his veins, declaring that perfection is no longer necessary. The battle resumes with terrifying intensity as legendary semi-perfect Cell begins to outmatch the three Saiyans, his power increasing exponentially with every blow he lands and every wound he heals. He brutally beats down the youngest fighter, causing legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan to shift form from his legendary state into base Kid Gohan as he falls unconscious. Now fully drunk on his own power and losing his sanity, legendary semi-perfect Cell focuses his torture on legendary Super Saiyan Goku and legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, tossing them through mountains with effortless, savage strength. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku notices something strange as the monster continues to grow in size, his attacks becoming increasingly sloppy, and his own limbs exploding under the pressure of his uncontained energy. He realizes that legendary semi-perfect Cell is being consumed by the very power he sought to master, as his bio-android body cannot stabilize the endless growth of the legendary form. Piccolo shouts a warning that if the monster is allowed to reach his limit, he will detonate with enough force to vaporize the entire solar system. Kid Gohan shifts form from his base state into legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan, rejoining the fight with a desperate focus as the Z-Fighters realize they must move the ticking time bomb off-planet. Together, legendary Super Saiyan Goku, legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, and legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan tackle the massive, warping body of legendary semi-perfect Cell. They fly him upward through the atmosphere, dodging his clumsy, oversized strikes as the monster's flesh begins to tear and regenerate in a grotesque, unending cycle. High above the Earth's atmosphere, the three Saiyans release their hold on the gargantuan creature and unleash a combined, final Kamehameha to propel him deep into the void of space. Legendary semi-perfect Cell vibrates with unstable energy, his body swelling until he finally detonates in a silent, blinding emerald explosion that lights up the stars. Once the threat is neutralized, legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan remains in a berserk state and attacks his father, prompting legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan to deliver a swift chop to the boy's neck to render him unconscious as the ordeal finally ends. Future Gohan and Future Trunks stand amidst the smoking ruins of the battlefield, the air still thick with the ozone of fading energy and the heavy silence that follows a narrow victory. While their mission to save the past from the mechanical terror of Cell is technically complete, Future Gohan looks at his younger self with a heavy, lingering responsibility. He knows that the volatile power of the legendary lineage is a double-edged sword, and he cannot bear to return to his own timeline while the young Gohan remains a potential powder keg of uncontrolled rage. Goku wipes the sweat and grime from his brow, his mind racing for a way to expedite the boy's mastery before the travelers must depart for their own era. The sun beats down on the group as Goku suggests the Room of Spirit and Time, a mystical void of endless white where months of grueling progress can be condensed into mere hours of outside time. It offers the perfect, isolated sanctuary for Gohan to confront his inner demons without the risk of leveling a city or endangering his friends should the power overflow again. The heavy, ornate door of the Lookout's chamber clicks shut with a finality that echoes through the white expanse, sealing Gohan, Future Gohan, and Goku within a realm of crushing gravity and absolute silence. They move into a rhythmic, punishing dance of combat and meditation, the two elder warriors guiding the youth through the mental hurdles of their shared lineage. The environment is harsh and unforgiving, forcing Gohan to find a center of calm amidst a sea of pure, unadulterated white that threatens to swallow his focus. Days bleed into weeks within the white expanse, and Future Gohan finds a strange, poignant brotherhood with a younger version of himself. He watches as the boy begins to feel a new clarity, a steady hand finally gripping the rudder of his immense power and replacing his former dread with a quiet, steely confidence. Gohan moves with a grace he never possessed before, his movements no longer jerky with the fear of his own strength but fluid and purposeful under the watchful eyes of his father and his future self. The trio eventually emerges from the temple, their hair slightly longer and their spirits significantly bolstered after months of secluded labor in the void. Future Gohan and Future Trunks offer their final goodbyes on the Lookout's tile floor, boarding the time machine with a newfound sense of peace. They depart into the sky, leaving behind a present timeline that is now shielded by a young boy who finally understands the weight of his own potential and the discipline required to carry it. In the years that follow this departure, Gohan refuses to let his guard down, driven by a persistent motivation to keep the berserk beast within him locked behind doors of iron discipline. He trains relentlessly with Goku under the bright sun of the countryside, the two of them pushing the boundaries of their legendary gifts to ensure the power remains a tool rather than a master. The environment is vibrant and peaceful, yet Gohan treats every session with the gravity of a real battle, fearing that complacency might invite the rage to return. While the others revel in the unique heritage of the legendary form, Vegeta carves his own path through sheer force of will, refusing to be left behind by the legendary duo. He trains in isolation, his screams of effort echoing through his gravity chamber as he refines the standard Super Saiyan transformation into something that can bridge the gap between mere talent and his royal ambition. He ignores the natural gifts of his rivals, focusing instead on the cold, hard efficiency of a warrior who has earned every ounce of his burgeoning strength. The long-standing peace of the World Martial Arts Tournament is eventually shattered when the group follows the wizard Babidi to his subterranean lair hidden beneath the rocky wasteland. Shin, the Supreme Kai, stands trembling with a caution that borders on terror, sensing the ancient, suffocating evil of Majin Buu lurking deep within the Earth's crust. The wind howls across the desolate plains as the warriors prepare for a confrontation that feels far more dire than any tournament match. Outside the wizard's hidden ship, the Demon King Dabura stands ready to claim the lives of the intruders, his presence radiating a cold, dark malice that seems to sap the light from the air. Gohan and Goku stand together on the dry earth, their muscles tensing as they prepare to unveil the fruits of their long years of training. The tension is palpable, a thick shroud of anticipation that hangs over the wasteland as the group stares down the king of the demon realm. Goku transitions from his base form into a state of controlled Legendary Super Saiyan. Simultaneously, Gohan shifts from his base form into his own controlled Legendary Super Saiyan state. Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Goku and Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan radiate a calm but terrifying pressure, their golden-green auras flickering like steady flames against the dimming sky as they fix their eyes on the Demon King. They move with a synchronized precision that speaks of their years of sparring together in the wilderness. Vegeta shifts from his base form into a Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta plunges into the dark depths of the ship to hunt the wizard, triggering a massive, earth-shaking explosion that rocks the landscape and momentarily distracts the Demon King. Seizing this golden opening, Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Goku and Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan launch twin energy blasts that converge with devastating force. The light of the attack is blinding, and when it clears, the Demon King Dabura has been vaporized instantly. Deep within his magical barrier, Babidi survives the blast, his spindly fingers twitching with a twisted glee as he observes the legendary warriors from the shadows of his monitor. He senses a tiny fracture in the mind of Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, a lingering, buried fear of the berserk rage that once defined the legendary power. The wizard cackles, realizing that he does not need a willing servant if he can simply unlock the monster that the warrior has worked so hard to bury. Babidi reaches into the subconscious of the warrior, twisting those old fears into a chaotic storm of unbridled, primitive aggression. Goku transitions from his controlled Legendary Super Saiyan form into a state of Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan. Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku roars, a sound that shakes the very foundations of the earth, as his eyes turn a vacant, terrifying white. The controlled aura he once held so tightly now explodes outward in a jagged, violent corona of energy that obliterates the ground beneath his feet. Shin watches in absolute horror as the energy spills out, realizing Babidi has found a shortcut to reviving Buu through the sheer magnitude of this mindless carnage. Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta are forced to engage Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, their strikes creating massive shockwaves that tear through the air as they struggle to contain the monster. Every punch thrown by Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku carries the weight of a falling mountain, forcing the defenders back with every desperate exchange. The battle drifts dangerously close to the World Tournament grounds, where thousands of innocent spectators remain unaware of the divine struggle approaching their location. Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta desperately try to steer the rampaging Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku away from the city, but the beast is relentless and focused only on the immediate thrill of destruction. The skyline of the city looms in the distance, a fragile target for the overflowing power of a warrior who no longer knows his own friends. Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku charges a sphere of condensed energy in his palm, a miniature sun of pure annihilation aimed directly at the crowded stands of the arena. Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta stand their ground in the center of the ring, pouring every ounce of their power into a desperate counterattack. The air sizzles with the heat of the approaching blast, and the spectators' cheers turn to screams of terror as the sky is swallowed by the glow of impending doom. Seeing the raw terror in the eyes of his mother and his young brother, something snaps deep within Gohan's soul, replacing his own fear with an unyielding, protective resolve. Gohan transitions from his controlled Legendary Super Saiyan form into the unprecedented state of Legendary Super Saiyan 2. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan erupts with crackling blue electricity and a massive, blinding surge of power that pushes back the darkness. With a primal shout, Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan deflects the killing blow and strikes Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku with a force that finally shatters the Berserk trance. Goku transitions from his Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan form back into his base form as he falls unconscious toward the shattered tiles of the arena. As the dust settles and Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan reverts to his base form, a high-pitched mocking laughter echoes from the clouds above. Babidi descends, standing atop the shoulders of a rotund, pink creature that radiates a childish but bottomless malice. Majin Buu begins turning the fleeing crowd into candy with a casual wave of his hand, signaling that while the internal beast has been tamed, a far more gluttonous evil has finally arrived. Majin Buu and the wizard Babidi descend slowly from the smog-choked sky, their shadows stretching across the fractured stone of the World Tournament arena. The air is thick with the metallic scent of blood and the acrid stench of burnt ozone, a grim reminder of the carnage Majin Buu has already wrought upon the spectators. Nearby, Goku lies heavily injured and weakened on the debris-strewn ground, his chest heaving with the effort of every shallow breath. The strongest remaining defenders, Gohan and Vegeta, stand amidst the rubble, with their shoulders slumped in exhaustion, their bodies covered in the grime and bruises of their preceding battle. A heavy, suffocating silence hangs over the group as they stare up at the pink, doughy monster who seems to radiate an aura of playful, mindless malice. Piccolo, Krillin, Trunks, and Goten stand paralyzed by the sheer scale of the threat, their eyes darting between the laughing wizard and his silent, smiling puppet. While the veterans hesitate, gripped by the uncertainty of how to combat such an alien foe, Trunks and Goten exchange a determined glance and decide they will handle the situation themselves. Without a word of caution, the two boys ignite their internal energy and fly towards Majin Buu, ignoring the desperate shouts of Gohan and Vegeta who try to call them back from their rash assault. They reach the hovering monster and begin raining a flurry of punches upon his soft pink hide, but every strike merely bounces off his rubbery flesh without leaving so much as a mark. Majin Buu does not even bother to defend himself, his round face fixed in a disturbing grin as he absorbs their futile efforts with mocking ease. Desperate to make an impact, Trunks stops his physical assault and begins charging a brilliant sphere of energy between his palms, his face twisted in a mask of concentration and fear. He launches the blast directly at Majin Buu's face, hoping the explosion will at least force the creature to acknowledge them, but the Majin merely lets out a high-pitched laugh in response. From the long antenna atop his head, Majin Buu fires a jagged pink beam that slices through Trunks' energy attack like a hot knife through wax, striking the young boy head-on. In a sickening display of magical power, Trunks is instantly transformed into a small, hard piece of candy that falls toward the arena floor. Babidi and Majin Buu erupt into sadistic laughter at the sight, while the others look on in horrified disbelief at the ease with which their companion was neutralized. Vegeta watches the candy that was once his son fall into the dirt, and a cold, murderous clarity replaces the shock in his eyes. Vegeta lets out a guttural roar of absolute, soul-shattering fury and transforms into a Super Saiyan. Now glowing with a fierce golden radiance, Super Saiyan Vegeta launches himself toward Majin Buu without a moment's hesitation, his speed leaving a vacuum in his wake. He crashes into the monster with a sequence of strikes fueled by pure rage, actually managing to push the creature back and draw a look of brief surprise from the wizard. While Super Saiyan Vegeta fights with a desperate intensity, the power he wields is fleeting, fueled entirely by the raw emotion of his loss rather than a sustainable reserve of energy. Gohan watches the brutal exchange from the sidelines, but his attention is quickly diverted to his younger brother, who is trembling with a growing, volatile energy. Goten is beginning to get enraged as well, his small fists clenching so hard that his knuckles turn white, and Gohan moves to his side, telling Goten to control himself. Gohan knows that Goten has never truly tapped into his full potential, and fears that another Berserk fighter would only lead to a total collapse of their coordination. Goten listens to his brother's plea, forcing himself to breathe through his anger, though his eyes remain fixed on the monster who took Trunks. Piccolo and Gohan decide to join the fray to assist Super Saiyan Vegeta, and Goten watches them go, hoping that staying in his current state will be enough to help without losing his mind to the fury. The battlefield becomes a chaotic blur of motion, as Gohan, Piccolo, and Super Saiyan Vegeta attempt to coordinate their strikes against the laughing Majin Buu. Babidi, perched safely on the monster's shoulder, sees that Goten has moved closer to the fight and decides to taunt the group by ending the child's life. He points a gnarled finger at the boy and tells Majin Buu to turn this kid into candy quickly so they can move on to the others. Majin Buu turns his vacant gaze toward Goten and launches another candy beam, the pink light illuminating the terrified faces of the defenders who are too far away to intervene. The beam streaks across the air with lethal intent, aimed directly at the heart of the frozen, wide-eyed boy. Just as the beam is about to connect, a blur of motion intercepts the light from the side, knocking Goten out of the path of the magical projectile. Goku draws upon the absolute last of his energy to move from his base form and tackle his son into the dirt. The candy beam strikes Goku squarely in the back, and in an instant, the legendary warrior is reduced to a small, inanimate confection. Babidi cackles at the irony of the hero's fall, mocking the mess the defenders have made of their resistance. Majin Buu reaches down and grabs the Goku candy, tossing it into his mouth and munching on it with exaggerated delight in front of the horrified survivors. Goten watches the monster swallow the candy that was once his father, and a high-pitched scream of agony rips from his throat as he tries to charge forward again. Gohan reacts instantly, grabbing Goten by the leg and pinning him to the ground, knowing that his brother is walking into a certain death. Gohan shouts at Goten, reminding him of all the people they have already lost in the stands and the terrifying unknown of Majin Buu's full capabilities. He feels his own anger bubbling beneath the surface, a hot liquid fire in his veins, but he begs his brother not to succumb to it. Without Goku, the weight of the world has fallen onto their exhausted shoulders, and Gohan knows that if they lose their composure now, everything will be erased. Super Saiyan Vegeta, seeing the opening created by the distraction of Goku's death, begins to channel every remaining drop of his life force into his final technique. He draws his hands back, the air around him screaming as a massive golden aura expands, catching Babidi and Majin Buu completely off guard. Super Saiyan Vegeta launches a final flash directly at the pair, the beam so wide it engulfs the entire section of the arena in a blinding pillar of light. Babidi tries to manifest a magical barrier at the last second, but the raw power of the Saiyan Prince shatters the shield and vaporizes the wizard instantly. Majin Buu takes the brunt of the blast, his body being torn into thousands of tiny, glowing pink fragments that scatter across the smoking craters. The explosion leaves a deafening ringing in the air, and for a moment the defenders believe the nightmare might be over as they witness the destruction of the Majin. However, the fragments of pink flesh begin to quiver and slide toward one another, signaling that the monster is already beginning to regenerate. Knowing they have only bought themselves a few precious seconds, Super Saiyan Vegeta flies past the group and grabs Goten and Gohan, signaling for Piccolo and Krillin to follow him as they retreat. As they flee the ruins of the tournament grounds, Shin and Kibito point out that while Babidi is dead, Majin Buu is now a complete loose cannon. Without the wizard's rudimentary control, there is no telling if the monster will become more destructive, or simply wander the earth as a mindless force of nature. The group settles in a temporary refuge to recover their breath, their faces grim as they realize they lack the power to finish what Super Saiyan Vegeta started. Piccolo suggests that if they can coordinate an attack at their full strength, they might be able to destroy Majin Buu entirely, as even a weakened Super Saiyan Vegeta was able to momentarily atomize him. To achieve this, Piccolo proposes they immediately begin a hunt for the Dragon Balls to revive everyone, including Goku and Trunks. He reasons that Goku would return at full health with a significant power boost from his recent injuries, potentially providing the edge needed to end the threat. The group agrees to this plan, heading to Capsule Corp to retrieve individual Dragon radars so they can split up and gather the stones in secret. While the heroes move cautiously across the landscape to avoid detection, Majin Buu completes his regeneration and finds himself alone in the wasteland of the arena. He looks around for Babidi, but seeing no sign of the wizard, he shrugs and decides he doesn't really care, as long as he can find something to eat. Driven by a sudden hunger, the monster flies into a nearby city, raiding bakeries and shops for sweets before deciding that the people themselves would make better candy. The defenders, scattered across the globe, suddenly feel a massive city's worth of life forces vanish in a single horrifying second. They realize Majin Buu has found a new hobby, and the urgency of their quest doubles as they hurry to gather the remaining Dragon Balls before the population of Earth is completely consumed. After a frantic search, the group finally gathers all 7 Dragon Balls in a secluded area, their hearts racing with the knowledge that the summoning will likely draw the monster's attention. They place the golden orbs on the ground and call forth the great dragon, and the sky instantly turns to an artificial midnight as Shenron emerges in a swirl of green smoke. Far away, Majin Buu notices the dragon silhouetted against the dark clouds and begins flying toward the site at incredible speeds, launching a massive energy blast as he approaches. Shenron sees the incoming attack and panics, fearing for his own existence, but the fighters jump into the sky and block the blast, ensuring the dragon remains safe to grant their wish. As the smoke from the blocked blast clears, Gohan senses a sudden, terrifying spike in power coming from right behind him and turns around in fear. Goten stands there, his eyes rolled back into his head, and his hair beginning to stand on end as his aura shifts into a violent, flickering emerald green. Goten shatters his internal limits to transform into a legendary Super Saiyan. The light from the transformation is so intense that even Shenron and Majin Buu pause in shock, staring at the brand new Legendary Super Saiyan Goten. Without a word, Legendary Super Saiyan Goten lunges at Majin Buu, his movements so fast they are nearly impossible to track, and he begins to brutally pummel the monster with a savagery that exceeds anything seen before. The battle becomes a whirlwind of green and pink energy as Legendary Super Saiyan Goten wails on Majin Buu, his strikes dealing genuine, physical damage that the monster struggles to heal. However, it quickly becomes clear that Legendary Super Saiyan Goten is not in control of his actions, as he lashes out at Gohan and the others when they try to get close. Gohan realizes that his brother is blinded by pure, unadulterated rage, and he begins a dangerous game of cat and mouse to lure the boy's attacks toward the Majin. At one point, Gohan flies directly in front of Majin Buu and drops down at the last millisecond, allowing a massive blast from Legendary Super Saiyan Goten to erase a significant portion of the monster's torso. While the battle rages, Krillin shouts his wish to the dragon, but Shenron's voice booms across the clearing with a disappointing revelation. The dragon explains that he can revive everyone except for Goku, as he has already been brought back to life once before, and the dragon's power has limits. Just as hope begins to fade, the familiar, eccentric voice of King Kai echoes through the minds of everyone present, telling them there is no need for despair. King Kai reveals that he has been proactive, coordinating with the Namekians to use their Dragon Balls to aid the struggle on Earth. Suddenly, the fighters feel a rush of reinvigorating energy as a wish is made on Namek to restore their power and revive all of Majin Buu's victims. A massive flash of light erupts from Majin Buu's body, scattering across the planet as every person he consumed is restored to their physical form. Among the flashes of light that land in front of the group, two familiar figures appear, standing tall and ready for combat. Goku and Trunks return to life in their base forms to rejoin the struggle. Goku wastes no time in assessing the situation, thanking his friends for the revival before flying directly toward Majin Buu. He delivers a punch with such force that it tears the monster in half, and when Legendary Super Saiyan Goten tries to attack him, Goku effortlessly dodges the blow and tells his son to snap out of it and look at him. Goten stops his assault, his eyes focusing as he recognizes the face of his father, and the overwhelming rage that fueled his transformation begins to dissipate. Goten exhales a long breath of relief and returns to his base form as his green aura vanishes. Gohan joins them in the sky, and the three Saiyans begin to channel their energy into a final, combined Kamehameha. As they charge the attack, Gohan feels a surge of electricity crackling around him, hinting at a power that goes even beyond his father's legendary state. Gohan taps into a hidden reserve of power and transforms into a Super Saiyan with sparks of legendary energy. Together, the three of them launch a massive triple beam that vaporizes Majin Buu instantly, leaving no trace of the monster behind as Shenron disappears into the returning sunlight. Gohan stands amidst the cooling landscape of the post-Majin Buu era, his body crackling with an intensity that surpasses anything the Z-Fighters have witnessed in recent years. The air around him vibrates with a lime-green energy that suggests a new stage of evolution beyond the standard Saiyan limits, a power born from the intersection of his hybrid potential and legendary blood. This is the dawn of what the Warriors have simply termed Legendary Super Saiyan 2, a form that mirrors the electrical discharge of the standard second stage, but carries the crushing weight and verdant hue of the legendary lineage. Gohan feels the immense power thrumming through his veins like a biological engine of destruction, yet he has finally learned to harness this volatile gift through sheer force of will rather than succumbing to blind, uncontrollable fury. The control Gohan exhibits over this surging energy is nothing short of miraculous, akin to a primal beast that has finally learned to walk among men without breaking the world beneath its heavy feet. He explains to his companions that the secret lies in a constant, simmering anger that he has effectively domesticated, allowing him to tap into the legendary Super Saiyan 2 power at a moment's notice, without losing his soul to the rage. Goku watches his son with a mixture of fatherly pride and the burning itch of a martial artist who sees a new ceiling to shatter, eager to test his own legendary limits. Meanwhile, Vegeta stands in the shadow of a nearby cliff, his arms crossed tightly over his chest as he grapples with the realization that the half-breed and his father have once again moved into a realm he cannot touch. Vegeta's internal monologue is a bitter yet resigned storm of thoughts as he acknowledges that he remains the most formidable fighter outside of the three Saiyans, blessed with the legendary gift. He sees young Goten growing stronger by the hour, a living testament to the perceived unfairness of a destiny that places the legendary mantle on the entirety of Kakarot's lineage. In a rare moment of introspection, the Prince of Saiyans finds a strange sense of peace in his own hard-earned strength, letting go of the ancient grudge that once fueled his every waking moment. He recognizes that while Kakarot was born with a natural reservoir of power that defies logic, Vegeta's own prowess is a masterpiece of pure, unadulterated effort, making him a more accomplished warrior in his own eyes. Deep in the cosmic void, the god of destruction Beerus awakens from a multi-year slumber haunted by visions of a warrior who could finally challenge his absolute supremacy. His premonitions whisper of a Super Saiyan god, a title that sparks a flicker of curiosity in his ancient, bored mind as he searches for a rival to end his ennui. Driven by this celestial hunch, Beerus and his attendant Whis journey across the stars, eventually arriving at the tiny, verdant planet of King Kai. There, they find the legendary warrior Goku engaged in his perpetual training, his movements a blur of speed and precision that catches the deity's discerning and critical eye. Goku stands ready to demonstrate the unique power that has kept the universe safe from the likes of the ancient Majin. Goku changes from his base form into a legendary Super Saiyan. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku's physical frame expands with dense muscle mass, and his hair erupts into a vibrant, spiky green crown while his eyes burn with a predatory yellow light. The transformation is so violent that the very foundation of King Kai's planet begins to fracture, forcing the terrified deity and his companions to dive for cover as the gravity itself seems to warp under the pressure. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku stands before the god of destruction, radiating a controlled but terrifying aura that instantly intrigues Beerus, who wonders if the term legendary might simply be the mortal's interpretation of a deity. The sparring match begins with a shockwave that rattles the nearby stars, but legendary Super Saiyan Goku quickly realizes that even his legendary strength is like a candle flame against a hurricane when facing a god. Seeking to push the boundaries of his power to impress the visitor, the warrior prepares for a further leap. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku changes from his current state into a legendary Super Saiyan 2. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku's power swells to even more incredible heights, his green aura becoming a jagged storm of energy that briefly forces Beerus to take the fight seriously. Though the gap in their power remains vast, Beerus finds himself genuinely enjoying the sensation of a mortal possessing such raw, unbridled potential, far surpassing any standard Super Saiyan 3 the history books might have recorded. The battle concludes with a crushing display of divine dominance, leaving legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku embedded in a deep crater as the dust of King Kai's world begins to settle. Whis moves with a graceful fluidity, tapping his staff to instantly mend the broken earth and restore legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku's battered body to full health. King Kai breathes a massive sigh of relief as his home is restored to its original state, though the tension remains high as Beerus continues his interrogation regarding the Super Saiyan god. When it becomes clear that even this legendary warrior lacks the knowledge of the divine transformation, the god of destruction decides to seek out the other Saiyans on Earth, hoping the prince might have the answers. On Earth, the search for the Super Saiyan god yields no immediate results, but it opens a door to an opportunity that neither Goku nor Vegeta can ignore. Beerus, recognizing the latent potential in the legendary bloodline, proposes that Goku come to his world to train under Whis in the hopes of unlocking the secrets of God Ki through divine exposure. Vegeta, refusing to be left behind in the wake of Kakarot's legendary ascension, demands to join the excursion, his mind racing with the possibilities of what divine training could do for a warrior of his caliber. Beerus finds the idea of two Saiyans pursuing different paths of godhood amusing, wondering if the legendary path and the traditional path will lead to two vastly different cosmic outcomes. As the two warriors depart for the realm of the gods, Vegeta harbors a secret ambition to refine his own techniques, specifically the flawed and draining Super Saiyan 3 form he has hidden from the others. He believes that the infusion of God Kai might be the key to stabilizing the massive energy consumption that has rendered the form impractical in real combat. While they toil under the watchful eyes of Whis and Beerus, a dark shadow from the past begins to stir in the depths of space. Frieza, the fallen tyrant of the stars, is resurrected by the remnants of his army, his heart blackened by the memory of the monkey who went berserk on Namek and tore his empire asunder. Frieza, fueled by a loathing that has simmered in the fires of hell, commits himself to 5 grueling months of training to ensure he never faces such a humiliation again. He knows that his opponent is not just a standard Saiyan, but a legendary beast of myth, and he intends to exceed any power level the universe has ever known. When his training is complete, the tyrant descends upon Earth like a plague, expecting to find the green-haired warrior who defeated him years ago. Instead, he is met by a small group of Earth's defenders, including the 2 sons of his greatest enemy, both of whom bear a striking resemblance to the man who killed him. Gohan and Goten stand on the front lines, their relaxed postures serving as a stinging insult to the tyrant's immense ego. The Frieza Force, once the terror of the galaxy, is dismantled in a matter of minutes as the two brothers treat the entire invasion like a light afternoon warm-up. Gohan remains in his original state, his face etched with a calm confidence that infuriates Frieza, who cannot understand why these children do not tremble in his presence. The young Saiyan effortlessly blocks a flurry of high-speed strikes from the tyrant, his movements so precise that he doesn't even break a sweat, while Frieza's frustration boils over into a murderous rage. Frieza, sensing that he is being mocked by a child, decides to unveil the fruit of his 5 months of intense labor. Frieza changes from his base form into Golden Frieza. Golden Frieza radiates a shimmering, oppressive heat, his body now coated in a brilliant metallic sheen that represents the absolute peak of his evolutionary potential. He expects the sight of his ultimate form to send the Saiyans into a spiral of despair. But Gohan only watches with a scholarly interest, largely unimpressed by the golden luster. Gohan then leans in to whisper a terrifying truth to the tyrant, that the berserk power Frieza encountered on Namek was not a fluke, but a genetic gift that has been passed down to the next generation. The atmosphere turns heavy as Gohan prepares to show Frieza the true meaning of fear. Gohan changes from his base form into a Legendary Super Saiyan. Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan is enveloped in a cascading waterfall of emerald light, the ground beneath him disintegrating into floating chunks of rock as the transformation reaches its crescendo. Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan descends slowly, his eyes yellow and cold, looking down upon Golden Frieza as if he were a mere insect to be crushed. Golden Frieza's mind fractures at the sight of the legendary aura being used with such terrifying, calm precision, realizing too late that his training might still have been insufficient against this bloodline. The ensuing struggle is entirely one-sided, as Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan moves with a speed that renders Golden Frieza's attacks useless. To further humiliate the tyrant, the warrior points toward young Goten, informing Golden Frieza that even the smallest child in their family possesses this same legendary potential. Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan decides that the threat to his family has existed long enough and decides to end the conflict with surgical efficiency. With a single, devastating energy blast, Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan vaporizes Golden Frieza, ending the threat of the tyrant's resurrection before it could even truly begin. Time flows onward to the Universe 6 tournament, an interdimensional contest of strength that serves as a testing ground for Goku's new divine powers. Goku has successfully tapped into the power of the gods, though he finds himself struggling to reconcile this new energy with his legendary heritage. Goku stands at the edge of the ring, preparing for his match against the legendary assassin Hit. Goku changes from his base form into a Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan God Goku's hair turns a vibrant crimson, and his body becomes leaner, radiating a calm and serene pressure that signifies his ascension into the realm of deities. Despite the immense power of Super Saiyan God Goku, the internal conflict between his legendary nature and his divine ki prevents him from reaching his full potential. He finds that the legendary aspect of his biology acts as a barrier, a wild force that refuses to be easily tamed by the refined calm of God Kai. Super Saiyan God Goku is eventually outmaneuvered by Hit's mysterious time-skip technique, leading to his elimination from the tournament. Piccolo follows shortly after but is also defeated, leaving the prideful Vegeta to stand as the final hope for Universe 7 against the formidable assassin. Vegeta enters the ring with a cold, calculated smirk, having spent the entire tournament analyzing Hit's every movement and finding the flaw in his temporal manipulation. Unlike Kakarot, the princess found it surprisingly easy to blend the divine with the standard Saiyan transformations. Vegeta changes from his base form into a Super Saiyan Blue. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta glows with a brilliant azure fire, his power perfectly contained and focused into a singular, lethal edge. With overwhelming confidence and superior tactical knowledge, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta systematically deconstructs Hit's defense, securing a decisive victory for his universe and proving his temporary superiority over his legendary rival. Watching the proceedings from the celestial sidelines of Universe 10, the apprentice Supreme Kai Zamasu feels a growing, poisonous disgust toward the mortal warriors. He is particularly repulsed by the sight of Super Saiyan God Goku, a mere mortal who dares to cloak himself in the sacred aura of the gods. To Zamasu, the mixture of divine ki with the primal nature of the legendary Saiyan bloodline is an unforgivable sin against the natural order of the cosmos. He watches the footage of the tournament with a narrowed gaze, his heart hardening with the conviction that such a mockery of godhood must be purged from existence, setting the stage for a dark and vengeful future. In the ravaged future timeline, a fragile peace finally settles over the world as Gohan and Trunks dedicate their lives to rebuilding the shattered remnants of human civilization following the downfall of the androids. Their labor is interrupted by the arrival of Shin and Kibito, who seek the Saiyans' aid in preventing the resurrection of a prehistoric terror known as Majin Buu. Because Gohan is alive and has achieved a level of power far beyond his original history, the looming threat of the wizard Babidi and his Demon King servant Dabura is handled with surprising efficiency. The two Saiyans successfully safeguard the Earth, ensuring that the sealed sphere of Buu never receives the energy required to open. With the immediate crisis averted, Gohan and Trunks travel to the sacred world of the Kais to hone their abilities under the tutelage of their divine benefactors. The rolling hills and crystalline waters of the celestial realm provide a serene backdrop for their intense physical and spiritual training. They push their limits in the hopes of reaching new heights of power, unaware that the tranquility they have fought so hard to achieve is a thin veil over a gathering storm. Deep within the heart of the future, a new shadow is already moving, one that carries the familiar face of a hero but the cold, calculating soul of a god. In a different corner of existence, the apprentice Kai Zamasu has successfully executed a plan to hijack the body of the universe's greatest warrior, becoming the entity known as Goku Black. Goku Black is in his base form. He flexes his stolen fingers, marveling at the raw, untapped potential of the legendary Super Saiyan cells that now thrum within his stolen chest. This vessel is a masterpiece of destruction, capable of growing exponentially stronger with every injury sustained and every spark of divine hatred that ignites his spirit. He prepares to unleash a crusade of purification upon the mortals he deems unworthy of the gift of life. The peace of the sacred world of the Kais is shattered when a pillar of devastating energy rains down from the heavens, gouging a deep crater into the hallowed soil. As the thick smoke clears, Gohan and Trunks watch in frozen horror as a dark figure emerges, clutching the gasping Shin by the throat. Before they can react, the intruder conjures a blade of shimmering purple ki and drives it through the chest of the Supreme Kai. The life fades from Shin's eyes, and his body falls limp, leaving the Saiyans to stare at an assailant who possesses the unmistakable appearance of the late Goku. Gohan struggles to reconcile the image of his father with the cold-blooded murderer standing before him, his mind reeling from the impossibility of the situation. He knows his father died long ago in this timeline, yet the physical resemblance is perfect, save for the dark, malicious aura radiating from the stranger. Gohan changes from his base form to his Super Saiyan form. Super Saiyan Gohan launches himself at the intruder with a roar of grief and fury, his golden aura lighting up the darkening sky. He demands to know who this impersonator is, but the enemy only offers cryptic remarks about the elimination of mortal sins. The ensuing battle is a lopsided affair, as Super Saiyan Gohan's years of rigorous training have made him a force that Goku Black cannot yet match. The Saiyan warrior pummels the intruder with a series of precise, high-impact strikes, seeking to beat the truth out of the man wearing his father's face. Goku Black is battered and bruised, but a disturbing smirk remains etched on his lips as he absorbs the pain to fuel his growth. Before Super Saiyan Gohan can deliver a final, decisive blow, a second Zamasu suddenly teleports onto the battlefield, grasping his counterpart and vanishing into thin air. Kibito teleports the stunned Gohan and Trunks back to the surface of the Earth, hoping the familiarity of home will offer them a brief moment of safety. Their sanctuary is short-lived, however, as Goku Black arrives on the planet shortly after, his wounds miraculously healed and his power significantly bolstered by his previous encounter. The Saiyans find themselves forced into a desperate defensive struggle, unable to inflict any meaningful damage on the god who now hunts them across the ruins of their cities. Realizing they are outmatched, they decide to retreat into the past to warn their allies and seek a way to overcome this divine threat. The time machine hums with life as it carries the two survivors back through the temporal currents, depositing them in a timeline where the sun still shines on a vibrant, undestroyed world. They quickly explain the horror of the Zero Mortals' plan to the Goku and Vegeta of this era, but their warning is interrupted by a tear in the fabric of space. Goku Black steps through the rift, his time ring glowing with the stolen power of the Chronos as he tracks his prey across the ages. He stares down at the heroes of the past with a look of supreme arrogance, eager to test his mettle against the original source of his power. The Goku of the past steps forward, his eyes narrowing as he observes the dark reflection of himself and the sinister energy it emits. Goku changes from his base form to his legendary Super Saiyan 2 form. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku explodes into motion, his massive frame and emerald-tinted aura dwarfing the frame of Goku Black. The impact of their collision sends shockwaves through the surrounding countryside, but it is clear that the legendary power of the past Goku is far superior. He nearly ends the fight with a crushing blow, but the temporal rift begins to pull the intruder back toward the future timeline. As Goku Black is dragged back into the void, he laughs, having gained exactly what he wanted, the opportunity to study the mechanics of the legendary transformation. The heroes left behind realize they must use this brief respite to prepare for a final confrontation in the future. Future Gohan seeks out his younger self to refine his combat techniques, while Vegeta takes Trunks to a secluded training ground. There, Vegeta demonstrates the overwhelming majesty of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, leaving Trunks in awe of the divine heights that his father has managed to scale. While the others focus on traditional training, Goku retreats into a state of deep meditation to solve a complex puzzle of energy manipulation. He understands that to defeat a god who occupies a legendary body, he must find a way to fuse his own innate berserk fury with the tranquil control of godhood. He seeks a perfect harmony between the green fire of his lineage and the calm blue of the divine, a transformation that would allow him to maintain his sanity while wielding unimaginable power. He knows that the fate of two timelines rests on his ability to master this volatile combination before they return to the front lines. A team of 5 warriors eventually departs for the future, arriving in a world of gray ash and crumbling stone where the two Zamasus await them. The villains greet the arrivals with a rehearsed speech about the beauty of a world without mortals, their voices dripping with condescension. Goku Black reveals that his time spent observing the Saiyans has not been wasted, and that he has finally unlocked the key to his own divine evolution. He explains that as a god inhabiting a legendary vessel, his transformation will naturally possess qualities that no mere mortal could ever hope to replicate. The air grows heavy with a suffocating pressure as the villain begins to power up, his aura morphing into a swirling vortex of pink and deep purple. Goku Black changes from his base form to his Legendary Super Saiyan Rosé form. Legendary Super Saiyan Rosé Goku Black stands at the center of the storm, his muscles briefly bulking before settling into a lean, predatory shape. His hair takes on a vivid, floral hue, and the power radiating from him is so intense that it threatens to crack the very ground beneath the hero's feet. He mocks the mortals, claiming that he has finally achieved the pinnacle of Saiyan and divine existence. Goku is not intimidated by the display, meeting the villain's gaze with a look of grim determination as he begins his own transformation. Goku changes from his base form to his Legendary Super Saiyan God form. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku emerges from an explosion of blinding light, his hair now a vibrant forest green and his physique massive and imposing. The environment groans under the weight of his presence as he hovers in the air, a living testament to the union of legendary might and divine grace. He drops to the scorched earth, ready to test this experimental form against the dark god who stole his face. The two titans collide in a blur of emerald and rose energy, their battle leveling whatever buildings still remained in the devastated cityscape. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku finds that while he has enough control to fight effectively, the form is still difficult to maintain against such a relentless opponent. Meanwhile, the immortal Zamasu acts as a constant, irritating distraction, healing his partner whenever the Saiyans manage to land a significant blow. The battle turns when the future Kibito intervenes, using his own mystical abilities to heal Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku and restore his flagging stamina. The tide shifts as Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku channels his remaining energy into a massive, dual-colored Kamehameha that hits his opponent head-on. Legendary Super Saiyan Rosé Goku Black is left gasping and scorched, his transformation flickering as his body nears its breaking point. Desperate and cornered, the villain grabs the Patara earring from his partner and places it on his own ear. A blinding light consumes the two Zamasus as they are pulled together by a gravitational force, fusions into the singular, arrogant entity known as Merged Zamasu. Merged Zamasu bellows with laughter as he feels the combined power of two gods and the legendary Saiyan vessel surging within him. However, his triumph is short-lived as his mortal half begins to buckle under the strain of the overflowing legendary energy. As his rage grows, his mental stability fractures, and his right side begins to erupt in violent green flames. The skin on half of his body melts and discolors, turning into a purple, scorched mass as the mortal components of the fusion fail to contain the infinite power of a berserk legendary god. The unstable energy finally reaches a critical mass, resulting in a cataclysmic explosion that clears the entire battlefield of its choking smoke. When the dust settles, the Goku Black component of the fusion has been completely obliterated, leaving behind only the original, immortal Zamasu in a weakened state. The heroes, realizing they cannot kill an immortal being, lure the god back to the past timeline where Beerus and Whis are waiting to intervene. The god of destruction and his attendant effortlessly seal the villain away forever, finally ensuring the safety of the future while the Saiyans remain behind to begin the long process of healing their world. The sun hangs high over the lush training grounds of Capsule Corp, where the air hums with the rhythmic vibrations of Saiyan combat. Future Gohan watches his younger self with a mixture of pride and a lingering bittersweet sorrow for the life he never got to lead in his own ravaged timeline. The grass is flattened under the pressure of their movements as the two warriors exchange blows, their motions nearly identical yet seasoned by different tragedies and triumphs. Future Gohan finds a strange sense of peace in this world where a version of himself has achieved the dream of becoming a scholar and a father, a reality that feels both alien and profoundly right. As they spar, the scent of ozone and crushed greenery fills the air, marking the intensity of a training session between two men who are the same person yet worlds apart. Across the yard, Future Trunks matches the fierce intensity of his father, the gravity of their training area seemingly doubling with every strike Vegeta delivers. Future Trunks focuses his mind on the divine path, observing the subtle shifts in Vegeta's posture and the way he manipulates his energy toward the heights of godhood. Nearby, the young present Trunks watches with wide eyes, eager to learn from the battle-hardened version of himself that stands as a testament to the Saiyan's enduring will. Vegeta's barks of instruction echo off the reinforced walls of the training facility, demanding nothing less than perfection from the son who traveled through time to save them all. The atmosphere is heavy with the scent of sweat and the crackle of raw power, as the Prince of all Saiyans pushes the younger men toward their absolute limits. Future Bulma stands on a shaded balcony, her gaze lingering on a world that is vibrant, loud, and blissfully intact. She feels a pang of longing as she watches the past version of herself living a life of comfort and love alongside Vegeta, a stark contrast to the desolate laboratory where she built her time machine. Seeing Goku alive and vibrant brings a small smile to her face, a reminder that their journey through the tides of time was not in vain. The breeze carries the sounds of laughter and training, a symphony of life that Future Bulma drinks in, knowing she has helped protect this sanctuary of peace. She takes comfort in the realization that, while her world was forged in fire, this one thrives in the light she helped preserve. The training sessions conclude, as the time travelers prepare for their eventual departure, their spirits fortified by the bonds they have forged with their past counterparts. Present Trunks and Goten stand together, their youthful energy a sharp contrast to the weary but determined expressions of the visitors from the future. Lord Beerus watches from a nearby lounge chair, his sharp eyes following the Saiyans with a mixture of annoyance and calculated interest. While the god of destruction is usually strict regarding the laws of time, he allows this transgression to slide, sensing that the presence of these future warriors serves as a potent catalyst for his rivals to grow stronger. The sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the grounds as the reality of the impending multiversal conflict looms closer. The peaceful days are abruptly shattered when the Tournament of Power is announced, a contest where the survival of entire universes hangs in the balance. Goku immediately begins a frantic search for a team, quickly recruiting the usual powerhouses like Vegeta, Piccolo, and the two Gohans, yet find himself short of the required 10 fighters. He looks over his roster, seeing the familiar faces of Krillin, Master Roshi, and the young Goten and Trunks, but the gap in their defensive line worries him. A daring thought strikes him, a plan that challenges the very laws of the multiverse and the patience of the gods. Goku turns to Lord Beerus, suggesting that they pull their ultimate weapons from the future timeline to ensure Universe 7's dominance. Lord Beerus initially erupts in fury at the suggestion, his purple aura flickering with the threat of annihilation at the thought of further offending the Omni Kings. However, Whis intervenes with his customary calm, delicately flipping through the tournament's rulebook to find that there is no explicit prohibition against recruiting warriors from different eras of the same universe. Goku pleads with the Destroyer, emphasizing that the strength of the future travelers is their best hope against the unknown terrors of the other universes. Reluctantly, Beerus concedes, acknowledging that the Omni Kings have likely already noticed the temporal shifts and haven't intervened, making the gamble worth the risk of survival. With a nod from the god, Goku prepares to cross the threshold of time once again. Goku arrives in the future to find a world slowly healing, where the scars of the past are being covered by the foundations of new buildings and the hope of its survivors. He finds future Trunks living alongside Mai, and is surprised to see that future Gohan has reunited with a living future Videl. Their bond is strong as ever despite the lack of a peaceful upbringing. The air in the future timeline is cooler, and carries the faint scent of stone dust and renewal. Goku approaches them with a heavy heart, explaining the stakes of the tournament, and the terrifying reality that their participation could mean the erasure of everything they have fought to rebuild. He offers them a choice, knowing that the favor he asks is one that carries the weight of existence itself. Without hesitation, future Gohan and future Trunks agree to join the fight, their loyalty to the family that saved them outweighing the fear of death. They recognize that without the intervention of the past timeline, they would have no future to protect, and they view this tournament as their chance to repay a debt that can never truly be settled. Goku watches them with profound gratitude, seeing the same Saiyan fire in their eyes that drives him to surpass his own limits. The group returns to the present, forming a unique and formidable lineup that includes 2 versions of Gohan, 2 versions of Trunks, and a collection of the finest warriors Earth has to offer. The synergy of the team is palpable, a blend of youthful potential and veteran experience ready to face the void. The team arrives at the world of Void, a dark and infinite expanse where the tournament arena floats like a solitary island in a sea of nothingness. Goku feels the oppressive weight of the high-tier energies radiating from the other universes, his Saiyan blood boiling with the excitement of the coming slaughter. Despite his instinct to charge in alone, Goku adheres to the strategy formulated by the 2 Gohans, understanding that their survival depends on their ability to fight as a unit. Vegeta, however, chooses his own path, his eyes fixed on the horizon as he seeks a new evolution that will surpass even the gods. The gong sounds, and the tournament begins with a deafening roar of energy as 80 warriors clash in a desperate bid for life. In the initial chaos, Krillin and Master Roshi work together to repel weaker opponents, while Goten and present Trunks stay close to Piccolo and future Trunks for guidance. The younger Saiyans hold back their full power to conserve stamina, their eyes darting through the dust and rubble of the crumbling arena. Vegeta moves like a blur of aggression, his focus entirely on breaking his own ceilings and achieving the instinctive movement that Whis has often teased. Goku finds himself face to face with Caulifla, a feisty Saiyan from Universe 6 who is eager to learn the secrets of his power. Their battle is a dance of high-speed strikes and energy blasts, but the playfulness is short-lived as a terrifying presence erupts from the sidelines. Kale, overwhelmed by the intensity of the battle and her own surging emotions, loses control and enters a berserk state that shakes the very foundations of the arena. Her aura is a sickly, roiling green that threatens to consume everything in its path, and Goku recognizes the familiar, destructive nature of that power immediately. He realizes that she is a danger not only to his team but to everyone in the ring, including her own allies. Knowing he cannot afford to be lenient in such a high-stakes environment, Goku prepares to end her rampage before someone is killed. The air around him crackles with a savage, emerald energy as he reaches deep into his own legendary heritage. Goku changes from his base form into Legendary Super Saiyan 2. His hair stands on end, radiating a brilliant green glow, and jagged sparks of electricity dance across his bulging muscles. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku moves with a speed that Kale cannot track, delivering a decisive blow that sends the Berserk Saiyan hurtling out of the ring and into the void. Caulifla screams in protest, but Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku's voice is stern as he explains that he did it to prevent a catastrophe. He tells her that if they survive, she must help Kale master this power, just as he has mastered his own legendary burden. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku then turns his attention toward the remaining threats, his green aura illuminating the dark arena. The Pride Troopers of Universe 11 begin their move, with Dispo leading a high-speed assault that catches many off guard. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Goku changes from his current form to Super Saiyan God. His hair and eyes turn a vibrant crimson, and the savage green energy is replaced by a calm, flickering flame of divine ki. Super Saiyan God Goku catches Dispo's fist mid-strike, his movements precise and effortless as he counters the speedster's flurry. The 2 Gohans rush in to assist, their combined might forcing Dispo into a desperate retreat. Super Saiyan God Goku continues his steady walk toward Jiren, the silent pillar of Universe 11, who watches the battle with an unsettling, stoic intensity. Goku stands before Jiren, the air between them thick enough to choke a lesser warrior. Super Saiyan God Goku changes from his current form to Legendary Super Saiyan God. In an explosion of power, his hair grows long and wild, and his aura becomes a swirling vortex of emerald and crimson light. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku launches himself at Jiren, the 2 warriors engaging in a clash that sends shockwaves through the entire world of Void. Every blow exchanged is a testament to their incredible strength, and while Jiren remains largely unmoved, Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku begins to chip away at the Titan's defenses. The battlefield around them becomes a wasteland of shattered stone, as they trade strikes at speeds beyond human comprehension. Sensing the climax of the battle drawing near, the rest of the Saiyan contingent prepares to unleash their true power. The 2 Gohans change from their base forms to Legendary Super Saiyan 2. Goten changes from his base form to Legendary Super Saiyan. Future Trunks changes from his base form to Super Saiyan God. The arena is suddenly bathed in a blinding spectrum of green and red light as the hybrid warriors ascend. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Future Gohan move in perfect synchronization, their combined power clearing entire sections of the ring. Legendary Super Saiyan Goten and Super Saiyan God Future Trunks fight alongside them, providing a wall of energy that shields their teammates from the desperation of the falling universes. Vegeta finds himself cornered by Toppo, who has discarded his sense of justice to embrace the raw power of a god of destruction. Vegeta changes from his base form to Super Saiyan Blue. The sapphire aura of the prince clashes with the purple, corrosive energy of Toppo's destruction. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta struggles against the overwhelming force of the Hakai, his attacks being erased before they can even make contact. Super Saiyan God Future Trunks and Super Saiyan Goten attempt to intervene, but the god of destruction Toppo swathes them aside with a single, devastating pulse of energy. In a final, desperate gamble, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta begins to charge a final flash, pouring every ounce of his pride and spirit into a golden beam of pure defiance. A massive explosion of yellow and purple light consumes the center of the ring, leaving a crater that smokes with the heat of the collision. For a moment, silence falls over the world of Void as the observers search the dust for signs of life. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta changes from his current form to Ultra Instinct Omen. From the depths of the crater, a geyser of silver-blue light erupts, and Vegeta emerges with his hair flowing black and his eyes a piercing silver. The heat radiating from Ultra Instinct Omen Vegeta is intense, and his movements are now a fluid, ghostly dance that Toppo cannot hope to touch. With a single, effortless strike, Ultra Instinct Omen Vegeta pummels the god of destruction Toppo through the arena and into the void, silencing the gods of Universe 11. Ultra Instinct Omen Vegeta joins Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku in a final assault against Jiren, but the strain of the form takes its toll, and he is eventually knocked out of the ring after donating his remaining energy to his rival. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku stands rejuvenated, flanked by Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Future Gohan. The three Saiyans work with the remaining members of Universe 7, including Super Saiyan God Future Trunks and Legendary Super Saiyan Goten, to overwhelm the exhausted Jiren. The two Gohans use the central timer as a springboard, launching a synchronized pincer attack that catches Jiren off guard while Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku fires a massive Kamehameha. Jiren is blasted through the arena, securing victory for Universe 7. As the MVP, Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku uses the Super Dragon Balls to restore every erased universe, fulfilling the secret wish of the Omni Kings and ensuring a future for all. Gohan and Trunks stand before the sleek, metallic hull of the time machine, the air shimmering with the heat of the Capsule Corp courtyard. They exchange final, grateful glances with their mentors and families, relieved that the terrifying threat of the Tournament of Power has concluded with their survival and the preservation of two timelines. The heavy glass canopy slides shut, sealing them away from the present as the engines begin to hum with a high-pitched, temporal resonance. With a sudden distortion of light and sound, the vessel vanishes, leaving behind a lingering scent of ozone and the heavy realization that both the future and the present now stand protected. Goku remains on Earth, his body vibrating with a power so immense it feels like a physical weight pressing against the planet's crust. He has achieved a terrifying mastery over his legendary abilities, but the fusion of his primal, uncontrollable heritage with the serene purity of God Ki creates a volatile cocktail. Within him, the energy behaves like a pressurized egg in a microwave, constantly expanding and threatening to shatter his physical shell if he dares to unleash it all at once. He spends his days in deep meditation or light sparring, focusing every ounce of his will on containing the limitless potential that grows more aggressive with every passing heartbeat. Vegeta isolates himself in a high-gravity chamber, his sweat hitting the floor like lead pellets as he obsessively pursues the fleeting ghost of Ultra Instinct. He remembers the cold, perfect clarity of the Tournament of Power, and the memory of that effortless movement burns in his mind like a brand. While the raw, destructive output of Kakarot's new form is undeniable, Vegeta places his faith in the sophisticated elegance of autonomous reaction. He pushes his body beyond the breaking point, convinced that if he can just bridge the gap between thought and action once more, he will possess a power that no amount of raw strength can hope to overcome. The peaceful atmosphere of Earth is suddenly interrupted by the arrival of a galactic patrol vessel. Its polished white surface gleaming under the sun, Maris and his officers descend with a sense of urgency, their faces grim as they reveal the reason for their intrusion. The ancient and gluttonous sorcerer Moro has escaped his eternal imprisonment. They had originally come seeking the power of the Grand Supreme Kai residing within Majin Buu, only to find that the pink entity was decimated long ago. The news of the Grand Supreme Kai's absence casts a shadow over the group, as they realize the primary weapon against Moro's dark magic is now forever out of reach. Maris briefs the warriors on the true nature of the threat, describing a monster that does not merely fight but consumes the very life force of planets and people alike. Goku listens with a mixture of apprehension and mounting excitement, his legendary blood stirring at the prospect of such a unique and formidable opponent. Maris warns them that they cannot treat this encounter like a standard martial arts bout, for even a moment of hesitation could allow Moro to drain their vast reservoirs of energy. With the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance, the group boards the patrol ship and accelerates toward the distant, vibrant world of New Namek. The landscape of New Namek is a tapestry of rolling green hills and placid blue waters, but the tranquility is marred by the arrival of the ancient magician. Moro stands tall, his weathered skin and curved horns radiating an aura of ancient, decaying power as he sneers at the Galactic Patrol's reinforcements. He seems unimpressed by the two Saiyans standing before him, his eyes filled with a smug confidence born of millennia of successful predation. The ground beneath them trembles as the two sides square off, the very atmosphere of the planet growing heavy with the weight of the coming confrontation. Goku shifts from his base form into the towering and radiant state of Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku. A magnificent aura of greenish-blue fire erupts around Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku, and his eyes glow with a piercing, emerald light as he lunges forward. The sheer speed of the assault catches Moro off guard, forcing the sorcerer to lift a jagged plume of lava from the earth just to create a momentary barrier. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku dodges the searing geyser with a fluid twist of his body, and delivers a punch so powerful that it sends Moro hurtling through the air, his body smashing into a distant cliffside with the force of a falling meteor. Moro scrambles out of the rubble, his smugness replaced by a frantic, wide-eyed terror as he realizes the sheer gap in their physical capabilities. Vegeta watches the exchange with a scowl, warning his rival not to get careless, as the sorcerer has yet to utilize his energy-draining magic. Seeing no path to victory on the surface, Moro rockets toward the sky, desperate to reach the vacuum of space where the Saiyans cannot follow. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta take flight in an instant, their forms trailing streaks of light as they pursue the fleeing villain through the thinning atmosphere. The pursuit reaches the edge of the planet's gravitational pull, where the blackness of space begins to bleed into the blue of the sky. Moro turns back in desperation, launching a barrage of dark energy blasts that Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta brush aside like mere insects. The sorcerer tries to catch a massive blast thrown by Vegeta, opening his mouth to consume the energy, but it provides him no strength, as it was merely his own power reflected back at him. In a final act of desperation, Moro reaches out to drain the life force of Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku, only to be intercepted by a vicious kick from Vegeta that sends the magician reeling into the cold void. As Moro drifts into the silent darkness of space, he believes he has finally escaped the reach of the powerful Saiyans. However, a series of precision energy shots suddenly strike him from behind, leaving the sorcerer dazed and paralyzed. Maris emerges from the shadows of a nearby moon, wielding a Galactic Patrol stun weapon and advanced binding technology to secure the weakened villain. The trap is perfectly executed, as Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta had unknowingly driven Moro directly into the path of the patrolman's ambush. With the ancient threat neutralized and bound, Maris prepares to transport the prisoner back to the highest security cell in the galactic prison. In the aftermath of the skirmish, Maris takes the two warriors aside and reveals a secret that leaves them both stunned. He is actually an angel in training and the younger brother of Whis. He admits that he has been watching their progress and is particularly intrigued by the potential of mortals who can touch the realm of the gods. Maris offers to take Vegeta under his wing, promising to help him master the elusive state of Ultra Instinct within a specialized training chamber. Meanwhile, he suggests that Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku return to Beerus's planet to further hone his destructive power under the guidance of Whis. Months pass as the two Saiyans train in their respective environments, each pushing the boundaries of their existence. On Beerus's planet, Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku focuses on the fine control of his legendary energy, learning to expel massive amounts of power without damaging his own internal organs. Lord Beerus watches with growing interest, finding the chaotic and destructive nature of Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku's form to be a perfect reflection of his own divine role. Deep in the Galactic Patrol's training grounds, Vegeta endures the rigorous, high-speed lessons of an angel, his mind slowly detaching from his body's physical limitations. The silence of Beerus's planet is broken when a Galactic Patrol craft touches down, and Maris steps out alongside a transformed warrior. Vegeta shifts from his base form into the shimmering, silver-eyed state of Ultra Instinct of Vegeta. A gentle, heatless aura of white and blue flame dances around Ultra Instinct of Vegeta, and his presence feels strangely distant, yet intensely focused. Maris explains that while the completed form still eludes him, Ultra Instinct of Vegeta can now tap into this divine state at will, marking a monumental achievement for any mortal. The air begins to crackle with anticipation as the two rivals prepare for an all-out duel to test their new heights of power. Goku shifts from his base form into the massive and glowing state of Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku once more. The two combatants take their signature fighting stances, their eyes locked in a silent exchange of respect and competitive fire. Whis and Beerus watch from a safe distance, with Whis casually inquiring if the destroyer is concerned about the potential destruction of his home. Beerus merely shrugs, his eyes fixed on the spectacle as the two warriors vanish in a burst of speed. The duel begins with a clash that sends a shockwave rippling across the entire planet, flattening the nearby forests in an instant. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku launches a heavy punch, but Ultra Instinct of Vegeta pivots effortlessly in mid-air, delivering a stinging kick to his rival's back. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku recovers instantly, using a ki blast to propel himself back into the fray with a series of blindingly fast strikes. Despite the sheer ferocity and speed of the assault, Ultra Instinct of Vegeta moves like a leaf in the wind, his body reacting to every threat before Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku's muscles even begin to twitch. As the fight intensifies, Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku begins to adapt, increasing his speed until he becomes a green blur that even instinctive reactions struggle to track. He predicts where Ultra Instinct of Vegeta will dodge and manages to land a heavy blow that draws blood from the prince's lip. The pressure is immense, and Maris notes that the overwhelming strength of Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku is exactly the catalyst needed to push Vegeta to his true limit. Ultra Instinct of Vegeta feels his stamina draining, his hair flickering, as he struggles to maintain the state under the relentless barrage of Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku. In a moment of pure desperation and resolve, the flickering aura around the prince suddenly explodes into a brilliant, blinding pillar of silver light. Vegeta shifts from his Ultra Instinct Omen state into the perfected, white-haired form of Ultra Instinct Vegeta. The transformation is complete, and Ultra Instinct Vegeta stands with a calm, absolute authority that leaves even Lord Beerus in awe. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku smiles, his own power surging in response to the challenge, and the two engage in a final, frantic exchange of blows that creates lightning-like discharges across the darkened sky. The battle reaches its climax as both warriors pour their remaining energy into one final, world-shaking beam struggle. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku charges a massive, greenish-blue Kamehameha, while Ultra Instinct Vegeta counters with a magenta-hued Neo-Gallic gun. The beams collide in the center of the battlefield, creating a sphere of pure energy that threatens to consume the entire planet until Whis and Maris intervene with a protective barrier. Legendary Super Saiyan God Goku suddenly leaps through the center of the explosion, his fist connecting with his rival's face in a final, desperate gambit. Both warriors finally exhaust their energy and return to their base forms, collapsing onto the scorched earth with tired, triumphant smiles.